registered on our MLS portal and you prefer to browse on your own without an agent to help you, how hard can it be to compare two similar properties? On MLS, they look identical, so the best one for you is the cheapest one. Or is it? MLS is great. We all use it. Clients register daily, use it to compare properties all over PV and Bahía de Banderas. You get to see price per square foot, bedrooms, baths, amenities, and even a short description about the property. But is that really enough to make a proper decision? Absolutely not. And that's why you come down to take a look at properties. So many clients tell me that they're good, they don't need my help, they're going to browse on MLS on their own, they're going to reach out when they're ready to buy. And I'm not in the habit of telling people they're making a mistake, but I would argue that buying a property is a pretty big deal, if not one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your life. So why wouldn't you follow a process that ensures you cross the finish line with a gold medal? I believe buyers make these decisions for various reasons. One might be that historically people who sell cars and homes and timeshare are put into a category of, pushy salespeople, and nobody wants to be pushed into purchasing anything. And so people respond with, I'll find my house on my own, I'll figure it out. I don't need someone to help me pick out a house with 2 bedrooms and 2 baths and a pool. And you're correct. If that's all you really care about is bedrooms and baths, then yeah, you can find a house on your own. But the reality is actually quite different. When I ask a client to tell me about their dream home, 50% of their descriptions is spent on bedrooms and baths. The other 50% is spent on lifestyle, goals, needs, and wants, and basically about 50% of what they're looking for will not be found on MLS. So how do you find that other information? Your advisor. Your advisor is the one who's going to do the legwork to find the answers to those questions. So let's take a look at 2 very similar looking properties and see how they really differ when we analyze them outside of MLS. All right, so by looking at MLS, Vilanova and Portovela are pretty similar. They both have a gym, pools, 24-hour security, gated entrance. Even the HOA fees are similar, hovering around 100, 150 USD. And the reason they look almost identical is that they're built by the same company that focuses on residential communities. Even their price per square foot varies only a little bit because some units owners have remodeled a little bit, so they're asking a bit more, but for the most part they're comparable. And it's obvious that they both offer a great value for the level of amenities and the location. All right, here we go. This is the entrance to Vilanova. The gates are only there for the evening. I think around after midnight they close them, but there's 24-hour staff at the gate. There's usually at least 2 people there, and during the day there's maybe 4 security people. There's usually 2 at the gate, 1 at the community center. There's also somebody riding around on the bike. And this is the main road in. And one of the nice features about Vilanova is that there's no driveways on the main drag in. All of the houses are on these short dead-end streets with 10 houses per side, 10 units per side. Other than when we pull into here, which is the entrance to the community area and all the guest parking. So there's a lot of guest parking here. So right in front of this community area to the right-hand side, there are houses. But I wouldn't consider that the main drag, the main road in. So that's one nice feature. It's like everything feels like almost like you're at a dead end street, so it's kind of quiet. But this park here, this community area, is where the pool is located, which is mostly covered. They have a lot of lounge areas. They have showers and places to change. There's a gym, but there were people in it today, so I wanted to respect their privacy. But it's a very nice, full, complete gym with free weights and machines. There's a tennis court. There's a barbecue, a lot of communal area over here, and a jacuzzi. Usually there's one person hanging out here in the pool area, somebody from security who checks you in and just kind of keeps an eye on things over here. You have a bracelet to get in through the door, and right up ahead you see the playground, huge area for kids, trampoline, ping pong table, and here are the houses I mentioned that have access right in front. So there's a middle section of homes here, but again, it doesn't feel like it's on the main drive-in. You can see everything's very well manicured. Here's back to the community area for kids. There's a lot of playground space, a lot more than the other residential community we're going to compare, which is called Portovela. And looping back over here again, really nice heated pool, tennis court, and the basketball court. And all of these features just attract a ton of families. There's always, seemingly right now, there's there's nobody around. It's Monday and people were at work. So, but typically when I walk my dog in this area, because I used to live here, there's always people around. There's a lot of kids, a lot of families, and during the high season there's a lot of rentals as well. A lot of snowbirds that are here for, anywhere from 3 to 6 months. But the majority, seemingly the majority of people here are year-round. Locals, from Mexico, and then some families from the US and Canada that are living here full-time. All right, so while we walk around Portovela, I'd like to talk about the real differences that are really only visible when you spend time on the ground. So in general, Vilanova seems to attract more families. So I don't know, maybe it's the larger playground, the basketball court, or the tennis court that attracts more families. But typically you'll see a playground full of kids, tennis lessons going on in the morning and evening, and the basketball court full of people of all ages. And Portovela doesn't have as large of a playground area. I mean, it does have a little one in the pool communal area, but it doesn't have a basketball court. It doesn't have a tennis court. It does have a squash court, which is not super popular with gringos. Like I said, the playground isn't as big. It does have a much nicer dog park than Vilanova. And it seems like in Portovela, there's just a ton of people walking their dogs around morning and evenings. There's quite a few in Vilanova as well, but here's the dog park on the right-hand side. It's very nice, very well maintained. They have a little middle section there, and then all the greenery on the outside, and your dog can be off the leash inside of this area. In Vilanova, there's nowhere inside of the community where your dog can be off leash. You have to walk outside into a gated area, and it's kind of desolate. It's not really well maintained or anything, but some people do go in there and let their dogs run around. During the rainy season, it was too much to handle with the mosquitoes. So this is a much nicer option for people with dogs. The gyms are pretty similar. Portovela, being that it was built after Vilanova, the gym is a little bit more modern, but they both offer the same. Portovela has houses on the main drive and one big loop going around the side of the community center. And I think that just makes it feel a little bit more open. Maybe a little less private, but overall, they both feel very similar in that aspect, and security is really good in both. And there were a couple improvements, I'd say, because Portovela was built afterwards. One of them right here is you see 4 barbecues as opposed to just one at Vilanova. So this is a really nice feature. And then this is the backside. 2 ping pong tables and a little playground there. But again, the one in Vilanova is a little bit more extensive. Another interesting point at Portovela is the sidewalk street transition. So the driveway is raised off the street, and so some cars bottom out when they're parking. And in Portovela, they made a little ramp transition, and it might seem pretty insignificant, but day after day, because I have lived in both, but day after day, when you're driving in and out, it certainly makes it nicer. Another interesting point, which seems a little insignificant, but the downstairs guest toilet is faced in a different direction in Portovela, and it seems to just take a little bit more advantage of the space in there. And one of the other big differences is that all the doors, the internal doors in Portovela, are all solid wood. So that's quite nice. Also, Vilanova hires employees that work security and landscaping through the HOA. So that means you get to know everybody, which I think is a nice touch. And Portovela hires landscaping and a head of security, but the folks at the gate are outside contractors. So they're only there for 3 months at a time, which is not a big deal, but it translates into a little less of a personal feel. All right, so taking a look at both Vilanova and Portovela, you have modern amenities at a great price that's popular for first-time buyers in Mexico and as expats as well. You have solid HOA structures, predictable maintenance. They do well with long-term renters, offer secure, gated communities. They're about 30 seconds apart from one another. Great location by the 200 highway. You're 5 minutes from Sam's Club, big box grocery stores, about 5 minutes from the entrance of Nuevo Vallarta, where you'll find a strip of restaurants. You're about 5 minutes from 2 paddle clubs and pickleball courts, and you're about 10 minutes from a public beach, and about 15 to 20 minutes to the airport, and about 15 minutes to Bucerías. So what happens when you decide to go it alone without an advisor and just rely on MLS? Well, you're going to make a decision based on the pictures and the price, and although you think that's enough, it's really not. And the reason I know is that 100% of the conversations I have with clients involves them sharing their lifestyle goals, their needs, their wants, what their next few years look like, and all of that information just translates into much more important information than just bedrooms and baths. And MLS doesn't have a way to translate lifestyle so that you know it's a good fit. And so again, it's your advisor that's the one that's going to get you all that information. He or she can get into the property to get a feel for them. You can talk to listing agents, staff security, on-site owners who can share information about what it's like living there. They can share video of not just the property, but the common areas, the entrance, and the neighborhood. So rely on your agent as much as possible to share all that information so that really you know you're getting everything plus the MLS. So MLS plus your agent. All right. If you enjoy these videos, find them helpful, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to the channel for more information.